After a long weekend in which Governor Tim Walz begged people not to travel, you may have been surprised by some online reports.
Social media was filled with news that the governor spent the weekend in Florida. The reports drew thousands of negative comments, but it turns out they weren't true. Esme Murphy reports on the fake news coming at a time when the governor is counting on public trust.
Governor Tim Walz continues his pleas that this crisis is real.
So when we passed 100 deaths, 101 deaths for one day, it's very shocking.
But then via social media comes widespread reports that while protesters demonstrated against restrictions this weekend at his residence, the governor was vacationing in Florida. Another widely shared story is that the governor, who talks often of his and his wife's careers as public school teachers, is suddenly a wealthy man worth $400 million. Both the trip and his alleged wealth, he says, are definitely not true.
I've not left the state since March, since this happened. The thing I most worry about, though, is if you're willing to believe those types of things without any proof, you're probably not going to listen to me when I tell you to wear a mask.
The governor's staff at first brushed off those comments, but then the volume increased, and people started actually calling the governor's office to complain, demanding to know about that trip to Florida, the one he never took.
What we need to remember is that just because it's on the internet doesn't mean it's true.
Mark Lanterman is a former cybersecurity investigator for the U.S. Secret Service, who now runs a cybersecurity firm. He says it's important to remember websites like this one with false information about the governor's net worth may also be making money.
Many organizations with web pages get paid based on the number of clicks that are driven to their web page, whether that's a quarter cent or half a cent, it all depends.
The governor and his commissioner of health say this latest spread of fake news, like the virus, is weaving its way into people's lives, creating an alternative reality that can also be deadly.
It's deeper than that because it goes to undermining the policies.
People saying, well, don't bother to get tested because the state is cooking the numbers. That's horribly dangerous.
At the Capitol, Esme Murphy, WCCO 4 News.
The governor's office says they do not know where or who originated the reports. Mark Lanterman, who you saw of Computer Forensic Services, says the origin of internet fake news stories can be very difficult to trace.